Welcome, Sagittarius, to your Venus in Aries deep dive forecast. From March the 6th through to March the 30th, Venus, the relator, but also the planet of money, moves through your fellow fire sign of Aries. We can look at Venus in Aries in isolation, but I'm going to share your event chart, and we can look at all the other planetary influences and how they impact on the next 25 days too. I'm also going to share with you the upcoming influences by the end of the video. You'll have a clearer picture on what you can expect in terms of resources, but also your connections. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundell. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to the channel, please do so now and help it to continue to thrive. Venus moving into Aries has a really delightful potential for you personally because it's the fifth house. The fifth house can be playful, joyful, and most of all, flirtatious. If you really want to strut your stuff, Venus is going to give you the opportunity to do that, but not initially. Because as Venus enters the sign of Aries, Sagittarius, she meets up with the dreamy, drifting vibe of Neptune, which can bring a rather mystical dimension to bear. But by the 8th of March, Venus is connecting with the stern, cool energies of Saturn. If there is somebody that you're drawn to at the moment, or you're in an existing relationship, if there are differences, or one of you's more playful, more flirtatious, more social, and the other one more reserved, that energy can come to the fore by the 8th. Will it be a deal breaker? Well, it could be, to be honest, for some people. It just depends on each individual circumstances. But once Venus gets beyond Saturn and from the 10th starts to forge an amazing link to Pluto, a sextile in your sector of everyday communication, if there is someone you're drawn towards, if it feels right, because you've got all this collective energy in the most emotional part of your chart, then that will give you the green light to start to move forwards. But thinking about that big picture, Sagittarius, let's just consider Venus's influence. It rules two zodiac signs. The first is essential, Taurus, very much to do with life foundations, our appreciation of the good things. It can be about security and stability, but most of all about everyday money. Its rulership of the sign of Libra, however, is much lighter. It's an air sign, of course, and it's about communication, but most of all, it's about equilibrium. It's about balance. And finding that midpoint between the give and get in relationships creates harmony. What's wonderful about Venus in Aries, although it is detrimented, it's really got greater confidence to embrace the fire energy. And that's something that can call out to you. The ruler of the sign of Aries is, of course, Mars. And what Mars wants, it wants it now. It's very much about instant gratification. And it can show a lot of courage to go for it directly when it does want something it desires. So if there is something you're feeling more speculative about in a financial context, once Venus gets beyond Saturn, that desire to do something which is enterprising and imaginative can be very constructive for you. But do know that Uranus, the planet of disruption, which has had quite the impact on you over the last 7 years, making it very difficult to get life patterns working particularly well, is inching back towards your seventh house cusp. And we'll go across that point on the 26th of April and begin a 7 year period of being in your sector of related. So if you're in a relationship at the moment where you don't feel it's flowing as well as you would like, you don't feel your emotional needs are being met, this can be a time of deep transformation, particularly in week 3 when Venus forges a square to your ruler of Jupiter. Jupiter goes direct on the 11th. It is in the 8th house, which can be good for long-term financial planning, but it's also very much about intimacy. If you don't feel aligned with someone, you're going to find out in week 3 because that natural part of you that can be a free spirit, rather spontaneous, but most of all, uh, very larger than life. However much this fourth house energy initially, when Venus arrives in Aries, could make you more cautious, once the sun returns to your sister air sign of Aries on March the 20th with the vernal equinox, that's going to see you in the last phase of the month, the last 10 days, be much more self-assured around your romantic moves. And I think it's possible that square between Venus and Jupiter could see you in a very dynamic way enjoy a very steamy clinch with someone, and it's possible that you'll have uh, the instinct to make the first move. But equally, by the end of the month, as Venus applies to Chiron, if you have been finding it difficult, particularly with Neptune in your fourth house until recently, obviously the 26th of January, but last year for 6 months moved into Aries. But since 212, full time Neptune was in a potentially very sensitive, very draining, very confusing part of your chart. Saturn joined up with Neptune for a couple of years and it was bruising. I don't think it was easy for Sagittarius people, but I think by the end of March, you can start to rediscover your joie de vivre. But if there is a relationship that just isn't working to you at a more feeling level, or most of all, just lacks joy, you're going to become much more conscious of that as the month draws to a close. If you've yet to watch your deep dive forecast for March, please click on the screen for that video. You can also watch your Mars deep dive, Mars in Pisces, which has got near to 6 weeks to run. And if you'd like to work with me one-to-one, please see the testimonials below. If you'd like to order your personal horoscopes, you can do so and get 50% off. Please apply Astro26 at the checkout. Or if you'd like to get your draconic, more spiritual, more karmic version of your charts, please apply Draco26 at the checkout to get 50% off. Thank you.